Welcome to another episode of You
Suck.
Suck. I am your host, VladV,
And I'm Joey.
and today we're going to look at the new Devil Wears Prada video. Isn't that like a Anne Hathaway movie?
Streep too, right?
I think so. I'm sure it's a gold stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great.
Not a terrible band name, even though it's got the word devil in it. Ooh. But their new song, what's it called? Reach Around?
Could be.
It's called...
It might be.
I think it's called Reaching.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope we are not 0 for 3 today.
Yeah, we've been through the ringer with Greta Van Fleet and L.A. Guns.
Yeah. So hopefully this one's a little bit better. I'm gonna try to be
man.
positive.
Now,
Positive.
metalcore. I'm almost 43, so metalcore was kind of like it just snuck in right under my radar there, and I never got into it.
What is metalcore? I never really kept up with the genres and metalcore.
Since we're Gen X, we would probably call it
Traditional metal.
We would think of it as like metal plus emo, a little whiny.
I thought that was screamo.
Man, I don't know. If you
See,
here's the thing about all the genres that popped up in 2000, and see if you can equate this to anything that's going on today. But if you come up with enough genres, then eventually you're going to be the best band in that genre. Like,
right?
I am the tallest Joey in this room.
Wow.
See,
you win, bro.
I broke it all the way down, so now I can feel good about myself. And
so you're saying that those are your pronouns?
yeah.
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 Your pronouns are tall and Joey.
No. Today I'm going with Topo and Chico.
Ooh, Topo and Chico.
Yeah.
Cheers to that, matey.
Cheers. That shit is good. It shouldn't be. There's nothing to it, but it's
I know.
still
I
good.
love it. One day we'll
Fucking
get an
Whole
endorsement.
All right.
So, let's go ahead. Devil Wears Prada. Reaching. Here we go.
1, 2, 3. Don't suck.
Out on my own, no microphone, doubts overblown, but I'm still raging. You know it's fine. You know I'm fine. Being a waste of time. But for me,
They said it, not me.
I'm to consider. And what's for you is not my own. On my own, but I'm still reaching. Spare your preaching. Can't let go. Take it back. Force the hand, watch the concrete. Watch as it cracks. So what's it like being right?
First impressions.
Um,
Are you hating this screaming dude as much as I am?
It's very not great. The dropout to the bass and the scream, it's so contrasty.
It didn't go together at all.
It didn't go together at all. I didn't love, but I liked the halftime chorus thing that they went into.
Yeah.
But the verses, the way they started in real thin, and that guy screaming, maybe that would grow on me if they would have just kept it there. But the fact that they went back to it, and they've got that like, I guess the bass player is trying to be Fieldy from Korn a little bit, and failing. And
boy, that's a low bar to fail.
God, dude.
God.
But you know, Fieldy fits in the band with Korn, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You know, but this, what they're doing, and I hate that. Like screams do not sound good to me when they're bone dry. You know, and especially again, just like with the LA Guns thing, where they didn't have enough body, they didn't have enough meat in the song. You know what I mean? It wasn't thick enough.
Yeah.
They've got this thin bass sound. They dropped out the guitars, and this guy's treble is, you know, turned way up, and he's screaming, and it all sounds like shit.
It sounded like we were sitting in the studio, somebody's mixing the bass, so they dropped the guitar out, and then like outside,
right? They forgot to turn it back on.
Yeah, and then some poor bastard outside the studio just like cut himself on a chainsaw and is like just shrieking about it. In the meantime, we're like, let's write a song like that.
Let's record that. Just keep it.
I mean, dude,
I like the chorus.
Yeah. Like the singer has a good voice. Like, okay, well, and actually, I was going to ask you this: as somebody that can scream like that, you got the metal scream,
right?
Is that a good scream? To me, it sounds really, really annoying. Like there's no like about it. It's more like my mom won't let me go to this party because their parents aren't home.
Right. These types of bands, which I'm not a huge, I don't know a lot about Devil Wears Prada, but I'm assuming they come from like the Under Oath, Kyotos, that kind of, you know, Seiyoshin, those kind of screamo-y. Yeah. The drummers doing the choruses, and then there's like a lead scream guy kind of stuff. There was a lot of those kinds of bands, and they seem to be like leftovers from that period, probably about 10, 15 years ago, where it was really cool to kind of scream punky. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like a petulant child.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So instead of it being,
so it's not like a full scream. It's like there was this like shrill. It was like a goal to sound kind of shrilly and almost have that Bobby Brady going into puberty kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because it made it sound.
They nailed it.
They made it made it sound kind of like a little bit more out of control, and there's bands that did it really well. Having said that, I don't like the execution at all, and doing that is pretty played. It's been done to death, and I think all the screaming is superfluous. Really, he could dial it down by at least 75%.
I feel like screaming should be for impact, and
right.
This has absolutely no impact whatsoever. It's almost like it's taking away instead of adding to the dynamics. It's actually taking away from it.
Right. That's I completely agree with that.
And they should let the singer fucking sing more.
Mm-hmm. Now it's just the same guy, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's two different guys. Okay.
We know that it can all be true, but did I still rock and roll? When will you start listening?
Like screaming there, appropriate. It's got impact.
I stand on my own, but I'm still reaching.
Sir, can't be sing driving. You gotta pull over, cops behind him.
Take it back. Force the hand, watch the cop.
I wonder if the cop would write him a citation for trying to sound like Deftones too much.
Watch as it cracks.
I like that riff.
Yeah, not bad.
Just another one being dramatic. Pretend moody, cinematic.
The bridge was probably my favorite part so far. It's okay. It's an okay song.
They could have taken that intro riff and the chorus and done some cool shit with it, but they didn't.
No, they did not. Live, I think a lot of times there's bands that are fucking awesome live because of their energy and they're what I call analog bands, right? In a digital age. And I consider this, from what I've heard in this song, maybe that's not their entire catalog, but this song is an analog song that would probably sound good live and have a lot of energy and get people fucking wild. You know what I mean? And moshing and doing whatever they do, pogoing, whatever these fucking clowns are doing nowadays. But, and it's to their detriment that they have the options that they do in the studio to tweak their music and do all this extra, artsy stuff when they're an analog band that sounds fucking badass live, probably. Because I can imagine what this would sound like, in a fucking auditorium or something.
You know what I mean?
Kids are fucking going wild, crowd surfing, all this shit. And it's probably fun as fuck to watch. You put a video around it where the fucking one of the singers is driving around and singing out the window with a cop behind him, and it loses all that impact, all that analog impact of a band performing heavy fucking music. You know what I mean? When you storyboard a video and you put all these like effects, treble effects and fieldy bass sounds and stuff like that, all that analog stuff is lost in the digital production bullshit, and like I said, it's to their detriment.
For me, the song has been an absolute disaster of dynamics. You got a verse that doesn't know what it's trying to be because, like, shit, musically a lot of the guitar dropped out, and so the dynamics come down. But
right.
But you got this kid screaming his ass off, and it's like the dynamics don't even know where they are.
Well, that's what they're trying to do, and I'm seeing this a lot. I guess it's like the new thing that these kids today are doing.
You mean fucking up all the music
they
that
are doing
people our
these.
Age wrote?
Do what?
You mean fucking up all the music that people our age wrote?
Yeah, I guess. They're trying. They're overcorrecting. Okay, so when you would do that slow part, and guys our age back in the day would have been like, I could see, I'm going blind. I could see, I'm going blind. And then
don't
kick
like
in
you don't know
and
who
build
that is.
and build up,
Yeah.
right? So when the fucking guitars come back in, you've got this nice pickup wave, right, that breaks when the thing hits. And what they're doing is like, oh, I know what you want me to do. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. I'm going to scream over the quiet part. You know what I mean? And they're doing, and it's witty to do stuff like that. But the reason that it's done a certain way in the first place is because it's going to work a lot better dynamically. It's going to have a lot more impact when the wave breaks. So just because you're being witty doesn't mean you're doing what's good for the song. And a lot of times, whenever you're living in reaction, and this is with anything in life, whenever you're influenced by the carrot or the stick, you're being influenced by external things other than the artistry that you're trying to portray when you do art. Yep. You know what I mean? So if you're living in constant reaction, it's cool to do that sometimes. Like, oh, I'm going to do the opposite of what's expected because maybe this part's a little trite, but I still like it and I want to keep it. But if you're constantly influenced by the carrot or the stick of what's been done, so you're going to do the opposite and overcorrect, you're not going to be original. You're not going to do what's best for that song. You're not focused on the song. You're focused on what people expect to hear, and your ego's trying to break out of that. You know what I mean? and limiting the song by trying to break out of it.
Well, let me ask you this: 2 minutes and 41 seconds into this song, has there actually been a chorus? Can you remember anything? A band like this, 3 minutes and 24 seconds, you should have something fucking memorable in there. And so far, they're not letting it breathe enough and put any kind of arrangement on it to where your brain picks up, yes, this is the chorus. This is what I'm supposed to remember.
Well, that thing that when the guitars kicked back in, I believe it was a chorus, and I believe we've had 2 choruses and a bridge, which
just not very memorable, man.
Yeah. I literally can't after
I'm too distracted by the fact that the verse just absolutely is fucking terrible.
It's not as bad as that Greta song.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Yep. Here we go.
But I'm still reaching. Special preaching. Let's let go. Take it back. Force ahead. Watch the concrete at cracks. Play it back, play it back. Play it back, play it back.
Or at least the screaming guy played us out there. God damn.
Yeah.
The chorus, here's why I didn't remember it. Is because dynamically it didn't pick up. It actually it was either
the same cut paste scores
or down. And like the vocal melody isn't bad, but the problem is he's singing in a register that doesn't have much emotion to it because he's got like a higher pitched speaking voice probably, and he's in a register that's easy for him to hit these notes, so there's no impact behind the notes whatsoever. So it was almost more like a pre-chorus, and the chorus never got here.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to describe it. The chorus was a pre-chorus, and it felt like it was going to lead up to something more impactful, and it didn't. Probably the best part of that song was the bridge. But that was like whatever, 4 bars, 8 bars, and then we were done with that.
What I liked was that they came in with a couple of tempos, or a couple of feels like you don't hear as much. I can't even remember what the fuck it was, but it was that intro riff. I was like, okay, well, this is different. It's not. It doesn't sound like rock in 2023. It sounds like they're going to do something different, but instead it was just like, I don't know. I mean, for a song that's that short, it seemed like it had a whole lot of parts.
Yeah. It did have a lot of bells and whistles, and most of them were not really delivering.
Yeah, and instead of like the song being a journey, that does this kind of shit, it was just kind of tinking along like a like I don't know. It was boring. It really was.
It's pretty boring rock song.
But
I think it would be cool live.
The riff was good. They had a good riff to build off of, and the chorus, or pre-chorus, I'm calling it, had a good vocal melody. There were a couple of, like, the chord progression was cool. They just didn't flesh out the fucking song, and I don't know if this is indicative of like their budget was shit and they didn't have enough time in pre-production. Pre-production, for those that don't know, is when you sit down with the producer and you go over your demos and you absolutely dissect your songs to make sure that the arrangement is good, the dynamics are good. It could be like, all right, we're going to do this chorus instead, do it half as many times, and then your bridge should actually be the chorus, or you go over things like that, so when the finished product is there, the song is as good as it could be. This sounds like they didn't have any pre-pro and they just went into the studio and said, we've got songs.
I feel like a lot of these bands nowadays self-produce, just because it's so much.
You have to.
It's so much more doable. Money, the money's not there anymore from the big record labels, unless you're Metallica or Slipknot or somebody. they're just not going to back you up financially, and everybody's operating on a shoestring budget, and recording with presets and shit, and plugins. So that's kind of what it sounded like. It really, it dynamically, it was. I mean, it was a pretty standard, verse, chorus. It went into the bridge, and I guess that outro was a chorus. Yeah, they went back in the chorus again, and then they did kind of like a short segue-ish outro, and that was it.
Yeah.
So
the understatement of the day. That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Again, I think this band would be probably a lot of fun to see live.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those bands where if you're like, yeah, they're okay, and then you saw them live, you'd be like, oh shit, I'm gonna go revisit that album. Maybe I missed something.
And I think you're right. And you were talking about their back catalog. I heard a few songs today because I'd never heard one single song by them until this afternoon. But they had songs that were catchier, better arrangement. This was just kind of, I was just kind of slung together.
Yeah. I'm kind of played out on that formula of the two singers. Again, it goes back about 15 years to like this kind of punky kind of metal,
Yeah,
screamy,
the
singy,
guy.
back and forth, real partsy. One guy screams all the time, one guy sings all the time, and
and the screaming guy, historically, screaming guy never plays bass or guitar. So guess what? He's gonna scream a lot, and it's gonna suck.
Right. It's like the friend that was there at rehearsal that was just getting drunk and taking up space, and like, fucking do something. Like, here,
He couldn't
you
just
do the scream part or something.
He couldn't just dance in Argyle socks like the guy from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. It's like, listen, we're sick of hearing this fucking screeching shit. Just dance for a while. You can still be in the band. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what that song needed is some cowbell. I think that whole song that they just, the whole 3.5 minutes of it could have been saved if we just would have had more cowbell.
Cowbell, dynamics, no screaming, pre-production. It's just a few little things, and it could have been great.
Yeah. All right. So wait, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the ultimate in suck, and 0 being a secret you rule, what do you think?
I don't know, man. 8 or 9, something like that. I just, it could have been a good song, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me. If they didn't have a chance, it'd be one thing, but they had a chance and they blew it.
I guess you could say this song was reaching.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them 7.
All right.
I'm gonna give. I didn't hate it, and I think they would be good live. I think they'd be a fun band to watch live.
Yeah, I'm sure that they are.
So, all right. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. That shit is so fucking loud.
Airplane.